Okay, so hello everybody. Let me adjust this. Um, so I forgot to do this review. I just forgot. It's been a busy few days. I watched the show the other day, and I watched it after we had been waiting for another refrigerator come in because at my house our refrigerator died, and that was really stressful dealing with that. And but here I am now to do the review. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna try to keep it short. So Rihanna, she had Benny come over, and when he arrived, she asked him, "Oh, were you followed?" And she tells him, "I'm not going to sleep with you." Mhm. And she lets him hold her, and then she thanks him for defending her, and then she sleeps with him. And that's why she called him over there in the first place. I mean, come on. And she, after they're done, she regrets sleeping with him, and then she asks him, "Is he healthy?" And I'm like, that's a fine time to ask that question after the fact. Okay. And she gets talking about his credit is bad and all of this, and I'm like, what is with this scene? I mean, I just felt that it was mostly pointless. Um, and she asked him how many men and women he slept with, and he doesn't say, but she says she only slept with two men, Sandy and Benny, and he doesn't believe her, but I guess she was telling the truth. And then he asked for a snack, and she's like, "Okay, I'll make you a sandwich." He's like, "A sandwich? So you can't cook?" I'm like, first off, why are you asking? Why would you say a snack? And then she offered you a sandwich, which is close to a snack, and then you flip. Then he flips around. It's like you can't cook, and I'm like, you asked for a snack. You're acting like you want her to cook you a meal, and anyway, I'm like, it didn't matter anyway, because he shouldn't have been trying to act all like indignant that she wasn't gonna cook him this great meal. And then he goes in there to cook something, and it's like I just thought the whole scene was pointless. So over at David's house, um, David got all of Tanner's information, and he asked Jeffrey, "Well, are you going to Justin's memorial?" And Jeffrey's like, "No," and David's like, "Good, because that would be trouble." And he was warning Jeffrey. And okay, so Jim shows up, and David's security guard is like, "Well, who are you? I need to announce you all of this." And Jim's just gonna give him a hard time, and he's like, "Hey, aren't you the guy I fired for letting my son escape?" And he just was being really difficult, and the guy was like not backing down. So Jim was the one that backed down. He tried to act like he was not backing down, but he just sort of like, stood down, and the guy went in and announced him and all that. And um, so Jim came over there to beg David for money to pay Celine. He asked him for $100,000, and I 50,000 of that is to pay Celine, and I guess the rest of it was just spending money for Jim. And then Jim is going to ask for even more money because they come to the conclusion that they should just hire Vinny to kill Candace. And I'm like, here we go again. I mean, how many times has Jim tried to have Candace taken out? Well, maybe it was just the one time when they just threatened her. The Malones just threatened her to like back off. Um, yeah, there was that one time, but who knows what's going to happen? I can't tell which direction this is going to go in. So, Catherine, she once again calls up Hannah, and she has Hannah running interference for her everywhere. And she's like, "Okay, call Jim up and tell him to go to Wyatt's Law." And so, um, Hannah gets Jim on the three-way call, and I'm sorry, this is so confusing to keep straight because it's all this three-way calling and stuff. She gets him on the three-way call, and of course, him and Catherine are going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh, well, is that the loft that you were supposed to have sold?" And she's telling him, well, I heard Wyatt on the phone and all of this. So over there at the loft, Broderick doesn't want to leave, and Rocky's telling him, you need to get out of here. And he's all, well, I've been researching. There's squatter rights. I don't have to leave. I can sue her. And Rocky's like, you know what? These are not the people you want to mess with. I'm getting out of here. So as Rocky is leaving, Hannah's arriving, and Broderick is just going to tell her, oh, I'm not leaving. And then Jim arrives, and Hannah just leaves because she's running her interference for Catherine everywhere, and it's just really, really stressful. And Jim asks where Wyatt is, and Broderick does not know, of course. And Broderick makes up this story about being, the cleaning man or whatever, and obviously that's not what he is because Jim sees his bags, and Jim orders him to leave. So let's talk about this whole mess with the White House and Candace and all that. So Landon calls up Candace, and he's telling her, well, I need to advise you about the money. You need to move it to a business account and such and such. And she says, I already did that. And then he wants her to come back to DC and do an interview. And he's saying, oh, it's going to be all in your favor. The press is on your side, blah, blah, blah. And she says, I don't want to do that. And she's saying, I'm leaving this motel. And it's like, we'll just find you at the next one. And and then she threatened, she says, you know what, maybe I'll go to the press and tell my side of the story, which is what she should have threatened a long time ago. In fact, she should have just done it because they're holding her back and stuff and not letting her leave the country, have her on the no-fly list. Right then, she should have just said, you know what, I'm going to the press and I'm going to say all of this and then let Charles deal with that. Um, and then she's not going along with what he's saying, and so Landon just calls, you're just a stupid hood chick. I mean, this storyline is just really annoying, and it really is a good thing that the show is wrapping up because for the past couple of seasons, things have just been going in circles and round, and you don't know where things are going, and it's ridiculous. So Charles is ready to move into the White House, and Oliver is talking to Landon, and he just does not trust Senator Westlake. And meanwhile, Senator Westlake is in there with Charles, and he keeps pushing and push to appoint this guy to the cabinet. And Charles is wondering why he's so anxious to get this guy appointed, and he wants Senator Westlake to stop because it's weird. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, what is the agenda here? And so then Candace calls up Charles, and he apologizes and for putting her in the trunk and all that, and he's like, I want to meet with you. And she's like, I'm not going to sneak around or like that or anything. And he's like, come to Pennsylvania Avenue. And then she reveals that she's pregnant. And Charles's reaction, he was surprised, but the kind of feel you were getting from it was that he did not really like that, and that it was going to be a problem. So I don't know what's going to happen with that if Candace is in some kind of danger, but there's only 2 episodes left, so we don't have to find. It's not like it's going to be a long drawn out thing to find out what's going to happen. 2 episodes left before the show is over. So Madison comes over to David's house, and he says, well, I got sent home early because I got piss thrown on me, and then I got choked out by Wyatt. And he tells, okay, well, he did that. He took my clothes, left me up in there naked, and stole a bunch of drugs. So anyway, so speaking of Wyatt, he shows up, and Madison tells the security, you need to detain him because he's an escapee. And Madison is asking why, what did you take? What did you take? and security is able to restrain Wyatt. So once again, Wyatt is restrained, and looks like next week he's going to like pass out again, as we've seen him do hundreds of times. Well, obviously I'm exaggerating, but we've seen him take too many drugs and just like, oh, whatever. It's old at this point. So let's get to the end. So Candace, she's sleeping, and then there's a knock on the door, and she's like, "Who is it?" And this person doesn't want to say who it is, and she's like, "Well, if you're just gonna, I'm not opening the door for somebody I don't know, and I don't know who it is." And so he opens the door, and it's Oscar, and she's like, "This is impossible. You can't be here." And he's like, "You thought you killed me, but you didn't." And he says that he's here, and that uh, they are all out to destroy her. He said plural. He said like there's a number of people out to destroy her. So I'm guessing that Candace is having a bad dream or something. Because in the preview it looks like the next episode looks like Benny is hustling her out of there. So I don't think Oscar was really there. It was just her mind playing tricks on her. So that was the episode. To me, there wasn't a whole lot. Was To me, there wasn't a whole lot going on here. I thought it could have been a little bit better. Everything is pretty much just dragging out. Initially, I thought that that 8 episodes was enough to really sort of wrap everything up, but there's still so much open, and there's only 2 episodes left in the entire series, and it just does not seem that there's going to be enough time to wrap everything up. And the way it's probably going to be wrapped up really quick, and kind of like sloppy. Um, Much like if Loving You Was Wrong was done, it's like Tyler just said boom, 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 get all this done, get it off the air, and it wasn't really tied together well. So that was the episode. So we're rolling towards the end. I've got 2 reviews left, so this the that my the review the finale of my reviews will be coming very soon. So I've been doing these on and off for the past 8 years, and I'll wax poetic about the show in my finale review. So let's hang in through these last 2 episodes, and I will see you the next time.